And welcome to Crafting with Ty and Friends. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to create a fabric tumbler using Mod Podge, and I am going to be using epoxy, but you can just use Mod Podge. Just coat it several times instead of twice or 3 times how I'm going to do it here in this video. You can even use the dishwasher safe Mod Podge. I'm just going to be using gloss Mod Podge today. So let's begin. I have my tumbler here. I have my fabric that I'm going to be using. I have a pair of scissors, some cotton balls, and some alcohol. I'm going to be using alcohol just to rub and to get the rest of this tag off of the tumbler. And I also have painter's tape that I am going to be, let me open this cup, placing in the inside of the rim so I don't get any Mod Podge inside when I create. So let me go ahead and try to get this tag. And then I'm going to also just rub alcohol on the whole cup. So, see, I got the tag off, sticky part and all. Now I'm going to rub the whole cup with alcohol. So now I'm going to take my painter's tape and just cover the inside of the tumbler. I'm just cutting slits in the tops that's overlapped. So I can actually press down like this. So this is how I have my painter's tape. I'm just gonna, I shouldn't even be using these scissors to cut this tape, so. Now that I have that, now that I have my painter's tape inside of my tumbler so I don't get any Mod Podge in the inside, I'm going to take whatever fabric I'm using and I'm going to measure it. So you can just take your fabric and place it on your cup with the edges like this. I don't like it because you can see the fray. So I like to basically give it a little hem. And I'll be doing the same to the bottom. So I'll be cutting off most of this fabric here. So I want my cup to be like this instead of like this. So I'm not covering the bottom. Now, usually if this cup was a different color, gray works with what I'm trying to do. But if it was a different color, I will probably paint the cup. So I probably would like paint it green so it'll match the fabric, but gray is fine. I'm doing the same thing on the sides, the little hem. So I'm going to push it in here. So when it meets, it has like a little seam. So let me go ahead and trim some of this fabric off. can take your iron and you can iron your little creases in. I'm not doing that. Let's see if this will fit. So I'm just going to remove. When you're doing it, you can remove more if need be, but this is what I'm starting with. And I'm going to take my Mod Podge and put a layer on my cup. Something under this. So we're going to start by putting our little hem side. I like to put it at like a little slanted angle instead of straight. And you'll see once you go around. Try to get it as tight and as on there as possible. See, I can actually cut some more, so I'm going to cut some more at the bottom. Find your Mod Podge drying up. You can just apply more as you go. You want to make it as smooth as you can. I'll go ahead, trim the rest of this. Alright, so I got part of it on there. Put some more Mod Podge. Where are you going? Don't worry if you get some on the bottom, because you're going to be applying your epoxy, or you're going to just keep doing more layers of Mod Podge depending on how you're sealing this cup. Now let's go ahead. Don't mind if it comes through, because you're going to be putting Mod Podge on top anyway. camera. Just smooth as you go along and get your fabric on there. Alright. Just keep doing this till you get the whole thing covered. Piece of yarn stuck in there. Cut off all the excess you don't need. When you get to the end, leave enough to tuck, because you want to give it that same look as the beginning. So. Now once you get it on your cup, you want to do another layer of Mod Podge on top. have 2 layers here, and I'm going to let it dry. And I'll be back to do a 3rd layer. Okay, so now that I have the Mod Podge dried on to my cup and fabric, I'm going to start epoxy in it. And so I have it on my tumbler. I have my tumbler on my turner, and I have my epoxy here that I've been mixing. Kind of has a lot of little bubbles in it, but oh well. The slower you mix it, the less bubbles you supposedly have. So let's go ahead and start applying the epoxy. So I'm going to turn my turner on. And then I'm just going to pour. Let's see. Take my 2 fingers and rub down. And I'm going to pour, do the same thing while it's spinning. Just take your 2 fingers and just coat your cup. You want to make sure you get every spot coated. And you want to keep it on your turner for about an hour. And then you can set it to the side to dry. Or you can just let it turn the whole time to dry. It's your choice. So I have enough epoxy on my cup. Now I'm just taking my fingers and making sure that it is coated everywhere. I will be coating the bottom also. I still have my tape inside of the cup, so no epoxy is getting inside of the tumbler. You want to remove that tape about an hour into turning. So when your cup is actually dried enough for you to touch it, you can remove the tape. I probably won't remove my tape until it's pretty close to drying. So I'm going to just coat the bottom of my cup. I'm going to stick my fingers inside the epoxy and then just coat the bottom of my tumbler. Just make sure you don't have any bird's eyes or any spots missing epoxy. I coat the bottom because I add a B and H for Big Heads, my business, on the bottom of my tumblers. Just the initial B and H in whatever color, you know, the theme or whatever the cup is in. So we're gonna just let this turn. I'm double checking spots. Sometimes you have to look at it from an angle. But it looks good, so I'm going to let it Finish turning. And we'll be back. All night. Now I'm going to remove it off of my turner. It is completely dry. I'm just checking the smoothness. It is completely dry. So it has its first layer of epoxy on it. I am going to take pictures of this, post it for sale, or I might even just give it to my son. But I will be adding a decal, maybe a name with vinyl, and then doing another layer of epoxy. So thank you for watching. Join my group to see the final results of the cup with the decal. Thanks again.
I said, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop talking to me. Stop.